Hi there, and here are KYN's top stupid people news stories this week.
A father of two decided to run off with the Ukrainian refugee that he and his partner had welcomed into their home less than 2 weeks earlier. The Sun reports that 29-year-old security guard Tony Garnett left his 28-year-old partner Lorna after falling head over heels for 22-year-old Sofia Karkadem. Garnett had signed up to the UK government refugee homing effort as Russia's invasion of Ukraine intensified, but he found the application process too slow, so he took to social media to offer help. He was introduced to Sofia on Facebook and offered to become her UK sponsor. Sofia traveled to Berlin, where she waited weeks for her UK visa to go through. She eventually flew into England and moved in with Tony and Lorna, but her arrival sparked tensions which soon boiled over. Tony moved his 6-year-old daughter from her room into a bunk bed with her 3-year-old sister to make space, despite Lorna's objections. Tony and Sofia then grew close, and the daughters also took to her, with Lorna growing resentful of the bond that had formed. Finally, Lorna asked Sofia to leave, and Tony followed. Said Mr. Garnett, "I've discovered a connection with Sofia like I've never had before." He added, "I know people will think that this happened so fast, but Sofia and I know this is right." The new couple started viewing properties and have begun applying for a permanent visa for Sofia. Said a friend of Lorna, she was with Tony for 10 years, and in the space of 10 days, her family has been torn apart. So if your spouse wants to do a good deed and help a Ukrainian refugee, maybe have a look at their picture first?
Kyoto News reports that a town in western Japan accidentally sent over 46 million yen in COVID-19 relief money, the equivalent of about $360,000, to a 24-year-old man who then thought he'd try his luck at the casino. Officials in the town of Abu had intended to transfer 100,000 yen in COVID relief money to each of the 463 low-income households in town. However, the funds were mistakenly sent in a single transfer to the man whose name appeared at the top of the list. The entire amount was transferred to the man's bank account, but rather than inform them of the mistake and send the money back, the man instead decided to gamble with it on various casino websites. Did he strike it rich for himself and for the town? Not exactly. The man claims that he lost all of the money and is therefore unable to return it. Town officials are now suing the man for around 51 million yen for the full return of the funds plus legal fees. According to the town, the man had refused to return the money, saying it was moved from his account and cannot be returned. The man added, "I will atone for my sins." I guess the town of Abu, and definitely that man, learned the hard way what most already know. When it comes to casinos, the house always wins.
Have you ever felt shunned by colleagues or excluded from after-work plans? For one casino cashier, that feeling led to a financial windfall. The Daily Mail reports that 51-year-old Rita Layer worked at the Aspers Casino in London, England. She claimed she was shunned by colleagues and was the only one not invited to a cocktail bar for drinks. She also claimed that fellow cashiers even insensitively organized the social event in front of her. So Rita filed a grievance with an employment tribunal, which ruled that colleagues excluding her from a work night out was victimization and awarded her compensation of almost £75,000, or over $90,000 US. A tribunal report said she was the only one in the room not included. This was not a formally organized works drink, but we all consider it was a drink among work colleagues to which Miss Layer would normally have been invited. Rita had previously complained of discrimination after being passed over for promotions and having her applications for higher positions rejected or ignored. The tribunal felt that her exclusion was due to her previous complaint. Said the report, the team did not wish to socialize with someone who had complained of discrimination. This was a way to make their displeasure over the complaint felt. Excluding an employee is a detriment at work, as they lose the opportunity to bond with colleagues, said employment judge Sarah Moore in her ruling. She added that a reasonable employee would consider that such exclusion was to their disadvantage. Miss Layer, who is of mixed Black African heritage, also won claims of unfair dismissal, race, and age discrimination. So if you ever find yourself wanting to organize a social function among work colleagues, and there's one person on staff that you might want to exclude, you better think twice. That is, unless you're okay with that person getting a payday as a result.
A retired Russian major thought he'd found an easy way to break the bank, but instead, he only found an easy way to get broken. The Metro reports that 52-year-old Viktor Kovtikov claimed to be carrying humanitarian aid into an area in eastern Ukraine that was facing intense Russian shelling. In reality, he was there to take weapons from the battlefield that he could bring back over the border to resell. Kovtikov had previously picked up a grenade from the besieged region and brought it back to Russia in order to sell it, but this time, he reportedly decided to pick up a handheld anti-tank grenade launcher. I think we all know how this one ended up. The launcher exploded in the trunk of Kovtikov's car, blowing off the back of the vehicle. Victor was injured, as was his passenger, 38-year-old Nikolai Podobrazny. The pair were hospitalized with mine explosive wounds, and people from nearby houses were evacuated. The Ukraine Weapons Tracker account on Twitter reported the news with the headline, "Why it is unwise to take items from the battlefield." Yeah, you think?
If you want to see all our videos about real news stories that are funny, stupid, or weird, click the subscribe button below. I mean, hey, my cat's gotta eat.